Hey folks, today is Friday, October 18th, 2024. As usual, my name is Jake Baldino, here to talk about all the gaming news that has been going on this week. There's a lot of stuff, just like a lot of news and announcements dropping, but this first story I think you might find interesting about developers and publishers realizing that players aren't accepting unfinished or rushed games. Yes, I know, breaking news, water is wet, but at the very least, it's nice here to hear that like developers are actually realizing the error of their ways. Specifically, the head of publisher Paradox Interactive did an interview with Rock Paper Shotgun that I'll link in the description down below. Really good interview, but essentially they were talking pretty candidly about how they decided to pretty much indefinitely delay the upcoming Prison Architect 2 because of the mistakes made with City Skylines 2. If you weren't aware, City Skylines 2, the launch was a mess. From a technical standpoint, it was completely unoptimized and like unplayable for a lot of people, and it was really unfortunate. I personally, as a fan of that series, was so disappointed. I talk so much smack. I know people forget. They tend to magically forget when I don't like games, but I was really unhappy with the launch of City Skylines 2, and a lot of Cities fans were. And it seems like they've learned a lot from that launch, and now they are taking the time to really do a feedback process for Prison Architect 2. But the quote for City Skylines 2 is interesting, and I quote, "We knew we would have some issues, like in every release. We had more of that than we hoped. Some of those were definitely things we should have caught. Some of the issues, I would agree, that we had in Cities 2 were some issues that we had not really understood fully, and that's totally on us." But the bigger part of that quote is, we were aware that performance was not great, but we underestimated how it will be perceived by players, how serious the player perception would be. Going forward, we need to have this communication with players and openness to a larger degree and quite early if possible. So that was the real thing there. That was the real kicker for me, was that they underestimated the response. They knew there were some technical issues, but they didn't really think it would be that big of a deal. I think it's damning, but I also think it's good that they admitted that up front, and I hope they learn from it. And the other big quote buried in there is that players have higher expectations now and are less accepting that you will fix things over time. So again, I really hope like mistakes were made and lessons were learned here. City Skylines 2 with the communication and stuff, it would have been way better off if like it released in early access, so players would understand that it's something that needs to be fine-tuned and honed over time. But no, they put it out as a big full release. It was clearly rushed, and that's unfortunate, but hopefully into the future, things get better from that publisher overall. Will they learn their lesson? We don't know. Some game studios do actually learn their lesson. Others continue to make the same mistakes for years and years and years. So I just want to know what you guys think. But the most important thing is that the interview is interesting, and I link the whole thing in the description down below, as well as everything else I talk about if you want to read it. Oh, the other thing, sorry, I still need coffee. I'm still waking up. This is crazy. So we're talking Black Friday prices already. Yes, if you're ready for that chaos, it seems like PS5 sales are going down. This comes from Billy Kuhn, the leaker on social media, who has gotten things right in the past with retail and stuff around Sony. Reporting from MP First, the PS5 is expected to come in 2 Black Friday bundles, one with the disc version and the other with the digital version. According to this, they're both going to have some like Fortnite bundle with some like V-Bucks credits built in, but the disc version for $425 and the digital version for $375. So while this is still not confirmed, it's from a pretty good source. They got the stuff behind the PS5 Pro pretty correct, pretty spot on, the prices of those. So this is only direct from Sony. Like, we don't know what other retailers are really going to do, but this is probably the starting point. So yeah, if you were waiting on a PS5, that will probably be the time. Or if you're just waiting and you don't have a PS5 and you're getting a PS5 Pro, it doesn't seem like there's going to be any sales on those. But again, it's still a little early for Black Friday stuff, but still, this was a little nugget I figured some of you guys would want to hear. The real question for some of us is, when are those GPUs going to go on sale? What are we doing there? What are the graphics cards doing? But we'll keep you guys updated. Also, so I personally have been waiting a long time for some news from IO Interactive's James Bond game. If you guys missed the news a couple of years back, IO Interactive, the people behind Hitman, have officially signed on to make a 007 game, and their own thing, not based on like one of the movies, just like a new Bond thing. And now we got a little tiny bit more info. An interview with the CEO of IO, I'll link in the description down below. He talked about how like the fact that they've had 20 years of kind of making spy games really sets them up for this, but apparently they are going to be fully developing and publishing this thing on their own. We know it's going to be a James Bond origin story, and what he said now, the new quote is that it's going to be a younger James Bond, and they're hoping to make it a trilogy. And I think that's perfect. I think it's going to be very tough to come up with their own Bond that has to be iconic and memorable. That's tough to compete with the legends of the past. But on the other hand, the idea of a trilogy is cool because I think after the Daniel Craig stuff, I like a kind of continued Bond story. It didn't work in every aspect, but I think for a video game, it would be cool to have like a little bit more than like every single game. It's a completely different Bond thing. I'd like a little bit more of a story, something to really chew on. It doesn't need to get as like emotional and sappy as the Craig ones did, but there could be something there. It's still probably going to be a long time until we really see more of this, but I'm hoping maybe like a little teaser or a little glimpse of something soon. Maybe like they reveal the Bond. I don't know, but there was a time when Bond games were a dime a dozen and they were all awesome. So I'd like to get back to that point, please. Next up, in terms of game updates, there's quite a bit that dropped this week. Hades 2, a lot of people are jumping back on that because of the Olympic update. So this is a new region, new characters, like a weapon and a bunch of other stuff. So that might be the time to jump in. But also Space Marine 2 has finally announced some of what they're doing and their roadmap. The first things we're getting is a new PvE operation called Termination that's going to have like this big enemy that looks pretty interesting, and also lethal difficulty mode is coming for some of you nasty boys. Along with that, Dragon's Dogma 2 got a bit of a technical update, so if you've been waiting to jump into that, the performance was a little iffy, so it seems like they are working to improve that. Hey, next up, this video is brought to you by our longtime sponsor, Vessi, and they've done it again. New shoe drop alert. This time, check out the title sneaker. Look at this bad boy. A cool gusseted tongue, some extra arch support that you can customize, rubber midsole and outsole, and of course I had to go with a bit more of a fun color, but this shoe is 100% waterproof, and that's Vessi's whole thing if you're new here. These shoes can get totally wet, trash, step in a puddle, whatever, whether you're in the city or in the woods, you're covered, but it doesn't feel like a waterproof shoe. It keeps your foot cool in the summer and warm in the winter. The Dymatex technology they use for this in all of their shoes is just unparalleled. And the best part is they have sizes, colors, shapes for every type of person, every situation. For me, recently I've been rocking the Title when I've been walking my dog, Boston. Right, buddy? Hello, do you like sneaker? That says it all. So whether you need a new shoe or sneaker for adventuring, maybe for work, maybe for casual, maybe you're a sneakerhead, but you don't want those to get wet, you should check these out. Been talking about it for years. All you got to do is click the link in the description down below or head to vessi.com/gameranx. When you go there, you'll get 15% off your first purchase when applied at checkout. That's 15%. It's fall here. It's a new season, so you might as well freshen up. Again, that's vessi.com/gameranx for 50% off your first purchase. And big thanks to Vessi for sponsoring these videos. Next up, in case you missed it, Xbox had a partner showcase presentation, revealing and showing off games that are going to be on Xbox, PC, and sometimes elsewhere, but we got some interesting stuff, so I'll just run through it real quick. Can't highlight everything, but like some of the main hits include a new look at the Alan Wake Lake House DLC. We saw some enemies, some gameplay. This looks pretty cool. I'm also an Alan Wake enjoyer, so I'm going to be playing this. This is October 22nd. Also, a new sci-fi game from Bloober, hot off the heels of the success of Silent Hill 2, which they did confirm did sell over 1 million units. Yay, a win for survival horror. I'm always happy for that. But they announced this new game here. It's a sci-fi third-person shooter called Cronos The New Dawn. Don't know too much about it. Some people were saying it gives them Returnal vibes, but it's coming 2025. Also, Blindfire. This is a new first-person shooter that is in early access now. This trailer looked a little pre-rendered to me, but we'll see how it goes down. Also, a much bigger look at gameplay and like what's going on with Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, the Majima game, the weird spinoff. It looks awesome. Also, a new look, some gameplay for Mouse PI for Hire. We've been following this game since it was like originally put out on social media when one person was working on it. This is really cool. And now we know that it is also coming to the Xbox platform. And as of right now, still no date. It's 2025. Something that I think a lot of people were waiting for is finally a little something from Subnautica 2. Subnautica 2 was announced and we haven't heard anything for a while. Now we got a cool cinematic trailer and that we know the game is coming to early access in 2025. Also, Animal Well is dropping on Xbox, which is pretty cool. That's a good game. You should check it out. And we got a gameplay trailer for Mistfall Hunter. There's quite a bit going on here. It looks challenging. It looks pretty complex. And speaking of that, another challenging, complex game, maybe a little Souls-like, is Wuchang Fallen Feathers. This was announced previously, but we got like a pretty lengthy gameplay trailer here. Actually, I was surprised how long this trailer was. We see bosses, we see combat, a lot of cool stuff. And FBC Firebreak. It seems like some people on social media are pretty interested in this one. This is a 3-player co-op first-person shooter actually set in the world of Control. I did not expect this. Kind of weird, but I'll give it a shot. It's part of Remedy's whole thing now where they're like self-publishing and spinning off and putting out more stuff. So yeah, we'll see how this goes. Everybody wants that kind of multiplayer live service thing. I didn't expect Remedy to really go for that, but as long as they continue to make the cool shit that I like the single player stuff, then cool. I'll try this, whatever. Still, I want to know what you guys think. I couldn't cover every single one, but yeah, let me know what caught your eye. Whether you're playing it on Xbox or PC or whatever, I want to hear what, is interesting you. It helps for us when we talk about stuff in videos. Also, some games dropping this week. Of course, last week we had Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. Pretty fun, got some issues, but a nice nostalgic return to form. Also, Metaphor ReFantazio, the new Persona guys' JRPG. It's pretty damn massive. It's really good. But also now this week we have Unknown 9 Awakening, something that I didn't think it looked very interesting, and the reviews are kind of middling on it, so maybe read into it for yourself. Also, New World Aeternum is dropping, so if you've been looking to get into the big Amazon MMO, it's been out for quite some time now, but this is kind of like the fresh launch point if you want to jump in. Oh, also, don't miss Retro Realms. So this dropped today officially. This is kind of a fun, more old school platformer beat 'em up experience, but it's this whole new thing that's going to feature horror characters. So the two games that drop now is a Halloween one based on John Carpenter's Halloween, and Ash versus Evil Dead. So I say that as somebody who just likes Halloween, spooky horror stuff. It's the perfect time of year for this type of thing. I hope it's cool. I'm going to probably try and jump into it this weekend, but yeah, I just wanted to give you guys the heads up. And don't miss MechWarrior 5 Clans. It's a return to form. It's just like a MechWarrior campaign. It's pretty cool. We did a before you buy on it. I'll link it in the description down below. It's still quite not reaching the incredible heights of those original MechWarrior games, but that's partially nostalgia on our part. Still, it's cool that MechWarrior still exists in 2024. Oh, and then in terms of new announcements, a couple of last things to wrap up on. There's a NetEase Bungie mobile game. It's Destiny Mobile. It's called Destiny Rising, and yeah, here you go. For mobile, visually and everything, like gameplay, it does actually look very impressive. It looks like a good translation of Destiny to mobile. Destiny nerds and the story and the lore and stuff like that, it's like in an alternate Destiny timeline, so I guess it's like whatever, who cares? But yeah, I'm just curious to see how this goes down, because obviously some hardcore player bases are not going to want a mobile game, but they tend to take on in other territories. And like even Diablo Immortal, some of us really despised a lot of the monetization in that game, and it still ended up being a big hit for them. So I'm curious to see how Destiny Rising goes down and this whole NetEase collaboration with Bungie. But yeah, I say that just as like somebody who likes watching the industry more than somebody who's gonna play. I'm not gonna play this. This isn't my thing. Also, pretty cool. I wasn't in the loop, so this caught me by surprise, but Arma 4 has officially been announced. And interestingly enough, it's not coming for a really long time. We got a logo tease, Arma 4, it's official, and it's coming in 2027. That's cool. I'm excited for those like hardcore military enthusiasts, but I want to know how powerful this engine, this framework, this gameplay is going to be, and will we get another DayZ off of Arma 4? Imagine that. Remember DayZ? Man, the early days of that, what a time to be alive. But that is really all the news this week. Unfortunately, I got to cut it short. I would love to know what you think of the stories, specifically, the developers at Paradox, the publishers at Paradox, talking about player expectations and them underestimating players not having much acceptance for unfinished games. Let me know what you think of that Xbox partner showcase. A lot of stuff was shown. We didn't get to dive into everything, so let me know what you're feeling in general. I'd love to talk about that Boond game with you guys. Fill me in on that, like how you feel about that. Do you think IO is up to the task? Let's talk about any of the news and stories and stuff this week down in the comments. I definitely want to hear from you, but the most important thing, right? I always say it, that pinned comment down there, just comment, reply to that, because we want to know what you're currently playing, whether it's new stuff, old stuff. Dropping a comment there legitimately helps us, because it helps us kind of like when we do top 10s, we look in those threads to see what players are actually playing, what they're interested in, what they're talking about. So that's really the only feedback we could get from you guys. So thank you. Other than that, you can find me on Instagram, instagram.com/Jake Baldino. That's where I hang out most times now. You can find me there. But we're here every Friday getting you caught up on the news. That's all the big stories and stuff. So if it did help you out, if you like it, clicking the like button helps us. Thank you. But that's really it. I'm Jake Baldino. All I ask is have a great weekend. Be safe. Pizza's on me.